Hey, how's it going? Nat here. Let's see what's making news. First to the US, where there's a huge debate going on at the moment over guns. Many people are calling for new laws to make it harder to get a hold of them after a tragic shooting yesterday. Here's Joe.
Enough is enough.
We need to get dangerous guns and weapons of war off the streets.
It's easier to get a gun than baby formula right now.
From sports people to celebrities to politicians, many Americans are calling for change.
I'm just sick and tired of what's going on. It continues to go on.
What the president's talking about is a series of mass shootings, including one at a primary school.
This only happens in this country and nowhere else.
Some people say that the reason the US has more gun violence than most other countries is because, basically, they have more guns. In fact, there's thought to be around 300 million guns in the country, which is one for every single person, compared to Australia, where there's only around 3.5 million. There used to be more here, but after a tragic shooting at Port Arthur in 1996, the government decided to do something.
My government delivered strong national gun laws prohibiting automatic and semi-automatic weapons.
But something like this would be a lot more difficult in the US. That's thanks to the Second Amendment to the US Constitution, which protects people's right to bear arms, or weapons. So many Americans see gun ownership as an important right.
We want our freedoms, we want to keep our freedoms, and we don't want the government telling us what we can't have.
Some say guns aren't the problem, and authorities need to work out why people are committing these terrible crimes. There have been attempts to change America's gun laws before, but they haven't been very successful. Many are hoping this time will be different.
May 27 or January 27. Put those dates in your diary. They're the possibilities put forward by Indigenous leaders for the next Aussie referendum. They want to hold a big national vote to change the Constitution to give First Nations people a permanent voice in Parliament. It's an idea put forward in the Uluru Statement from the Heart, which was signed by Indigenous leaders 5 years ago today. And now Australia's new PM says he's committed to it. While a date hasn't been chosen, some have suggested either May 27 next year or the day after Australia Day in 2024. Ooh! Boeing's Starliner capsule has returned to Earth after its first successful trip to the ISS. Welcome back. The uncrewed mission brought supplies to astronauts on the space station before coming back to Earth. And apart from a bit of a glitch during takeoff, things went pretty well. NASA is looking to use the Starliner as its second space taxi to take astronauts to and from the space station, along with the SpaceX Dragon, which is already up and running. Oh, well, this next story is rubbish. Oh wait, no, don't go anywhere. I mean, it's about volunteers collecting rubbish to turn into art. It's a good thing. Here's Gladys.
It's been a long day of fishing for these guys, and they've caught a lot. A lot of rubbish? But it's okay because they're not fishermen. They're volunteers who have been cleaning up Abrolhos Islands on the west coast of Australia since 2011.
When we first started Flotsam, it took 1 day to fill our boat with 17 volunteers. Now I have maybe up to 30 volunteers and it takes us 3 days to fill the boat with the same amount of rubbish. That says to me, there's less, we're cleaning up.
Flotsam and Jetsam is an annual event which asks artists to turn all this marine waste into something beautiful. They have 1 month to get creative with whatever they can find here.
I'm looking for bottle caps and pieces of rubbish to make my art out of.
This rope here is just so very different from anything I've ever seen, so I think that that's going to make a beautiful basket.
Some are even turning it into high fashion.
This year I made Nixie the water sprite. She's a piece of wearable art. She's pretty much a little tutu with a corset top, and she's made entirely out of rope and net.
All up, the group says they've removed more than 80 tons of rubbish from around the island, which is a pretty creative way of helping the environment.
I really like that we can recycle and create art out of rubbish we find from the sea.
It's time to party! Like these Canadian corgis who got together to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
We just think it's funny to see a lot of corgis together. Congratulations and long live the Queen.
Making it to 100 is a big deal. Not many people get there. But Juan here, who lives in Venezuela, breezed past 100 13 years ago and now has been declared the oldest person in the world. He was born in 1909 and tomorrow is his birthday. And finally, let's celebrate Peruvian Clown Day. Yes, it's a thing. It's been a thing since 1987. Clown Day brings the circus to the streets and is a chance for people to celebrate clowns, get a little dressed up, and have fun. Well, that's all the news we've got for you today. See you tomorrow.